Good morning, folks. I hope you're all well. So, I didn't get to see it live yesterday, but I managed to catch up on it now after work. And Naoya Inoue won a unanimous decision over Murodjon Akhmadaliev in Japan. Crazily one-sided fight. Murodjon couldn't get going at all. I gave pretty much everything to Inoue. There was one round that I gave to Ahmed, I can never say his fucking name right, Akhmadaliev, but everything else I gave to Inoue. He was just in top form, great defences, usual aggression. You know, it was so one-sided, and the reason I took quite great pleasure in watching this fight was a clip resurfaced yesterday from a little while ago of Eddie Hearn talking a lot of shit about Inoue, excuse me, saying that he didn't want the fight, he was going to avoid Murodjon, he didn't want it, you know, and all this stuff. They're scared of him and all this crap. And bet your house on Murodjon, if they ever do fight, bet your house on it, I guarantee it. And then that fucking happened. And as you all know, I'm not a big fan of Eddie Hearn. I think he's a scumbag, but they all are. All the promoters are. It's not just him, but there's just something smarmy and slimy and unpleasant that comes off Eddie Hearn for me, that I'm just not really interested in the guy. He gets up my fucking nose. But that's just me. It's just a personal thing, you know. I don't know. There's just something about him is off about him, you know. But anyway, so yeah, that was one in Eddie Hearn's eye for me, for Naoya Inoue to get the victory. Absolutely fucking fantastic. On the undercard, Christian Medina stopped Yoshiki Takai to pick up the WBO bantamweight title. Absolutely a series of uppercuts, just trapped him in the corner and just battered him with a series of right uppercuts. And there was nothing coming back. The referee had no choice but to stop that. So, yeah, Christian Medina. I thought I'd said it wrong then. You tell I've not long got home from work because I'm fucked. So yeah, that was a good win for him. And Ryusei Matsumoto picked up the vacant WBA minimum weight title by beating Uni Takada. Just having to read that to write it down. Technical decision after an accidental. I didn't actually see the fight. I think it was an accidental clash of heads. And I thought to myself, Collazo was the WBA minimum weight champion. I had a look. Now it seems to be the WBA are up to their own fucking games again, and they've got now they're trying to get two world champions in each weight division, which pisses me off because they went through a phase of consolidating all the titles, so they only had one champion. They seem to be going back to having two. Well, we've got two at heavyweight again now. You know, you've got Usyk, who is the only real WBA heavyweight champion. Let's not be fucking stupid. But then you've got Kubrat Pulev. Now you've got Matsumoto and Collazo both claiming to be WBA champion. And, yeah, it's just getting fucking stupid again, and I'm pissed off with it. Yeah, light heavyweight. I think there's David Benavidez. I think he's got the regular light heavyweight title, and then obviously Bivol's got the full title. Yeah, we're going backwards. You know, I thought the WBA were going to eradicate all this shit and stop the confusion and consolidate the belts. That's what they said a couple of years ago, and that's what they've been doing. But now they're back to, you know, having two. You know, they're gradually getting two champions or more because they've got their fucking gold title. You've got interim champions, gold champions, champions in recess. It's bullshit. It's just one of those real things I hate about modern boxing. It fucking pisses me off. You know, especially the WBA. The WBC are much better, but the WBA in particular are the fucking worst for it, I think. I mean, interim champions, regular champions, super duper duper champions, and all this whole fucking bollocks. Nah, it pisses me off. And also, going backwards, I've talked, gave my views on the Terence Crawford victory over Canelo Alvarez yesterday in a video. The Belfast show, what a fucking show that was Saturday evening. Really enjoyed that one. Lewis Crocker picked up the vacant IBF welterweight title with a split decision over Paddy Donovan, and a lot of people are very upset about this. I had it for Donovan. I had it 115, 111, same as one of the judges. The other two judges had it 114, 112 and 114, 113 for Crocker. And a lot of people are very upset. The word robbery is being spun around quite a lot. Now I had Donovan winning. I I thought his aggression won it for him. Obviously, those 2 knockdowns went against him. One of which I didn't think was more of a push than a knockdown, but the second knockdown was definitely a knockdown. That massive left hook that dropped him. Oh, excuse me, I've got terrible gas today. But there were some rounds I found very difficult to score. You know, that I gave them to Donovan, but I could see some of those rounds going to Crocker. So yeah, I can kind of see a split decision. The scorecards are a bit, I don't know, a bit kind of all over the place in some respects, but I could, you know, if you sort of analysed each round by round, you could kind of, and if you switched a couple of them, if I switched a couple of them that I gave to Donovan that were close and a bit difficult, gave them to Crocker, then yeah, I could see him just nicking it. But I think a rematch needs to happen. You know, it was a good fight. I enjoyed it. It was a very good fight. But I do think a rematch needs to happen. And of course, the undercard of the Netflix show with obviously Crawford and Canelo. Christian and Billy went to a draw with Lester Martinez. That was fight of the night for me. They just fucking went hell for leather, non-stop. It was scored a draw. I had it a draw. I actually scored it a draw. One of each, the other judges gave it to one gave it to Billy, one gave it to Lester Martinez. Don't have a problem with that. It was one of those kind of fights. It's like, what did you like? You know, they were just fucking slugging away at each other. You know, whoever had got their hand raised by a slim margin, I wouldn't have minded. But a draw, I think a draw was fair. Callum Walsh did a number on Fernando Vargas Jr. The score. A lot of people were complaining online yesterday the scorecards are wide. Look, I think I gave Vargas Jr. 2 rounds. Everything else to Walsh. Walsh was working nice into the body. He was mixing combinations from head and body. He was catching Vargas coming in with the straight left hand, right hooks. Again, he was just mixing it up to head and body, and you could see by the sort of mid rounds. I mean, I gave a couple of rounds to Vargas Jr. because when he was being aggressive and coming forward, he was quite effective. But a lot of the time, he was just being nullified by the movement and the combinations from Walsh. So I don't think they were wide at all. I think one judge gave him every round. It was a 100 to 90 after 10 rounds. I didn't see a problem with that. That didn't bother me at all. You know, a couple of rounds, yeah, I gave them to Vargas, but they could have gone to Walsh. You know, but it was just weird to me. I felt very, very old. I'm starting to feel old these days watching Vargas Jr. and seeing his old man in the corner, because I grew up watching his dad, and his dad gave me some fantastic fights over the years. You know, his fight with Trinidad, his fights with Shane Mosley, Vargas. Sorry, he is Vargas. Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya. You know, some great fights. Great fights. Thoroughly enjoyed watching him growing up, and it just seems funny I'm watching his son now. So, but yeah, overall it was a great weekend of boxing. So that's enough out of me. Take care, folks, and I'll speak to you soon.